Hello, welcome back, and it's time to actually test our software and connection and make sure everything is good to go. You can see I've already got my motherboard plugged into the USB cable. Chances are, if you've never run a program, as soon as you turn it on, it's going to start to blink. Brand new processors typically get shipped with a blink program on it. And in fact, what we're going to do now is we're going to just test the connection, and we're going to make it, well, blink, but we'll change the rate it blinks. So open up the Arduino, and this might take a moment. If it's the first time you've opened it up, you should get a screen similar to this. Okay, your basic start screen. What will end up happening is typically what happens is when you open up Arduino, the last code you wrote will be the one, or the last code that you closed will be the one that opens up here. I actually intentionally opened a new one and closed it so that would happen. So we had the first program ready to go. So let's not write anything. Let's actually just go get an example. We'll get the blink example, and that can be found under examples, under basics, and blink. I'm going to tell you this is a fantastic program just to make sure things are working. If you've written some code and it's not working, you can't figure out why, you're not sure if it's your code, you're not sure if it's a computer, you're not sure if it's your Teensy, okay, just remember that the blink is always there under examples and it always works. So if you can get blink to load in, you're good to go. It's got to be something you're doing. It's not the board, it's not the computer. I will refer back to this many times. I love having this. It's a great habit to get into if you're having trouble. Just open up Blink, make it go. So I just opened up Blink. First thing we need to do is make sure we've got the right processor hooked up. I was last programming a Teensy 3.0. This is currently a 3.1, so I'm going to select a 3.1. Very important to do. And the next thing we're going to do is confirm that we're on the right port. Okay? Well, I happen to know that my port 6 is being used for something else. Port 12 is where I want to be. If you have a doubt on that, this will be slightly off screen. I'm running Windows 10, and under Windows 10 I just right clicked on the Windows icon in the lower left, and I'm going to go up to Device Manager and say yes, and from here I'm going to go to Ports, and you can see, I'll be darned, okay, it's on port 6. Yeah, it's a good thing I looked. Okay, the Teensy USB serial port is currently on port 6. I must have switched things around. So I guess it's a real good idea to make sure you know which port you're hooked up to. Alright, if you're hooked it up to a laptop, you don't have any other devices, it's going to be the only one that shows up there, more than likely. But now you know, it's a good idea. Go to Device Manager, right click if you're running Windows 10, right click on the Windows icon, lower left, and then select Device Manager, and then go right up to here, and you can see that I'm hooked up to port 6. Alright, so fortunately I'm going to change that to port 6, and let's load it up. This check, I use this quite a bit. We'll do this first. This is going to launch the Teensy loader, you'll see pop up here in a second, and what I'm doing is verifying the code. It always takes a while the first time because right now it hasn't handshaked with the Teensy loader yet, hasn't loaded it, but once you've done it once it'll happen quickly. Here's the Teensy loader. Okay, it is time to do it. I'm going to upload, and we should see, there we go. If that blue screen, if you saw that blue bar shoot across, you are good to go, and it's uploaded and it's still blinking. So you say, well, how do I know it's working? Well, let's just change the rate at which it blinks. Let's turn both of these down from 1,000 milliseconds or 1 second to 100 milliseconds each. So it's going to turn on for 100 milliseconds, off for 100 milliseconds, and we should see a dramatic rate change for the light. So we'll load it up. And Should load over here. We'll see it. Sorry, it's taking a while. Normally it goes quicker than this. I must have some background processes going here. Boom. And sure enough, okay, we are good to go. We are now ready to actually write some code. I will take 60 seconds to explain this code. Okay, I think a lot of you are somewhat familiar with it. I've created a variable called LED, which is hooked to pin 13. Pin 13 on a Teensy is this pin back here, okay, which happens to share an onboard LED. So when I drive this pin high, it will drive this LED high. All right. I set the direction of the pin to output. All right, so I don't want to receive any signals. I want to send a signal. I want to turn on and off an LED. And that's exactly what I do in my loop. I turn it on, set it high, I wait 100 milliseconds, I turn it low, I wait 100 milliseconds, and it loops infinitely. The setup runs one time, the loop runs infinitely. Okay? And that is it for this video, and I will see you all again here very shortly. See you soon.